Welcome to today's video, and we're going to be looking at fractions, addition and subtraction. So I've broken our operations on fractions into two different videos, addition and subtraction, and next you'll be looking at the multiplication division. Now, weirdly, fractions is the only time, I guess, where addition and subtraction is kind of harder than multiplication division. So, and that's mainly because of this rule here, that you can only add and subtract like fractions. Okay, you can only add and subtract like fractions. So remember last year when you looked at the beginnings of algebra and you looked at like and unlike terms, and you know they had the same variables if they were to be like terms. With like fractions, they have to have the same denominator. Okay, so 4 over 6 and 7 over 6, these are like fractions. We can add those together. 3 over 4 and 11 over 32, these are unlike fractions. We can't add them together yet. You'd have to do something to them. So, what do you do? Well, for instance, let's just have a look first for this like fractions. If you have like fractions, I'll just give myself a bit of room here. If you have like fractions, it's very, very easy. So we'll get our 4 over 6 and 7 over 6 here. So 4 over 6 plus 7 over 6. Right, if you're adding, you keep the same denominator, okay? We started with sixths, we finish with sixths, okay? And then you add the numerators, so 4 plus 7, which is almost always 11 over 6, okay? Same with subtraction, if you have the same denominator, 3 over 5 minus 1 over 5, we keep the denominator, 5, 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 over 5, okay? Right, if they are unlike fractions, however, you use the lowest common multiple to create equivalent fractions like we talked about in the previous video, okay? So, 4 over 6 minus 3 over 10, they are unlike. We have a 6 and a 10, so you have to get the same somehow, okay? We can't change 6 to be like 10 or 10 to be like 6 easily, so what we want to do is think to ourselves, alright, we need to find the lowest common multiple of 6 and 10. Well, it turns out, if you use the process that we did the other day, looking at our lowest common multiples, that you'll find that the lowest common multiple of 6 and 10 is in fact 30. Okay, so we need to think to ourselves, how do I get 6 to be 30 and how do I get 10 to be 30? Okay, so it turns out that 6 times 5 is 30 and 3 times 10 is 30. So that means that for this fraction here, I have to times it by 5 over 5 to get the denominator to 30. This one here, I have to times the numerator and denominator by 10 to get it up to 30. So we have 4 over 6 times 5 minus 3 times 10 over 10 times 3. Okay, now it's, not this, 3 times 3 over 10 times 3. Got myself confused because this fraction's a bit weird like that. Right, 3 times 3 over 10 times 3. So we end up with 20 over 30 minus 9 over 30, which is easy now, 11 over 30. Okay, so that's how you do it. You've got to create an equivalent fraction by looking at our denominator, find the lowest common multiple, multiply by your a over a. I mean, this is all stuff you've seen before, but I want to show you it again, and I'm going to now show you a couple of examples, and hopefully that will help jog your memory. So, 5 and 4, lowest common multiple is 20. So we need to get our 5 and 4 up to 20. So that will be 3 times 4 over 5 times 4 minus 1 times 5 over 4 times 5. So that gives us 12 over 20 minus 5 over 20, which is 7 over 20. Okay? Right. Next one here, 10 and 5. Okay, so this one's a little different. Well, not really. The lowest common multiple will be the same way, but if you look at it, 5 times 2 is 10. So this is a really easy one. I mean, the lowest common multiple of 10 and 5 is 10, so that's correct. So what we need to do is we leave this one, and we just need to change this second fraction here. So we leave 9 over 10 minus, right, 5 times 2 is 10, so it ends up being 2 times 2 over 5 times 2, and that means 9 over 10 minus 4 over 10, which is equal to 5 over 10. Right, when you get one like this, it's nice, good practice to bring it to its lowest common, most simplest fraction. So these are both divisible by 5, so you'll end up with 1 over 2. Okay, easy one, that one. Right, what if you have a string of fractions like this one here? 1/3 plus 1/4 plus 5 over 12. So for this one, I might bring this down here, sort of running out of room there. 1/3 plus 1/4 plus 5 over 12. Right, you'll remember from adding numbers together that there's the commutative law and the associative law more so. We can do this in any order. So essentially you just add 2 together, then add the third one in. So we'll work on our 3 and 4 to start with. And there's a good reason for that, because the lowest common multiple of 3 and 4 is 12, which is what we'll be working with in the end. So we will have 3 times 4 over 1 times 4. 1 times 4 over 3 times 4 plus 1 times 3 over 4 times 3 plus 5 over 12. Now, an important thing to see is, so this part here, okay, if you're doing it right, you should get, that A over A, okay, remember, A over A equals 1 equals 4 over 4, okay, equals 3 over 3. Yeah, remember that from earlier. So then we've got 4 over 12 plus 3 over 12 plus 5 over 12. Right, they're all over 12 now at this point in time. And so then what we need to do is 4 plus 3 is 7 plus 5 is 12, so 12 over 12, which just happens to be 1. Okay, so that's today's video, adding and subtracting fractions. Please, you really need to get a hold of that. The main issue is, the first point that I made, is that you can only add and subtract like fractions. Okay? Please don't think you can add denominators together. You've got to create like fractions. Thank you for watching.